You're watching the Ram Pump Wizard. In today's Ram Pump video, I'm going to be installing a 3/4 inch ram pump on a small homestead. The owners are going to use that water to take to some hogs and also water a garden. Now in this video, I'm going to be using two different bucket systems. One is going to capture water out of a culvert. The second one is a filter bucket which separates the air and silt from the water, and that is going to go down to the ram pump. They're also sending water uphill, going to a couple of IBC totes for the storage. Hope you enjoy the video. We're going to be installing a 3/4 inch ram pump here on his homestead to take water for his chickens and pigs. So I will walk you through our setup real quick. Right over here is a culvert that is going to be an easy place to catch the water. And so that will be our initial intake. You can see right down in there. It's flowing, I'm hoping, somewhere around 10 gallons a minute. So it has more than enough water here. So our first bucket will be there. It'll catch the water. The supply line will sneak down into the creek a little bit, and we'll have to see how much pipe we've got, but we will find a place somewhere in here for that bucket to rest. You know, probably right in there where that patch of nettle is. That's where our supply line and bucket will go to. Drive pipe will go from that, and it will use this head pressure here that will come down to our pump location, which is going to be right over here on the right side of the creek. And from there, we're going to take the water up to the storage. Let me zoom in so you can see where those tanks are from here. This is the 3/4 inch ram pump. Water comes down and it falls into here, and it's going to try to go this way. And it's going to smack that valve closed, and when that happens, a pressure wave is created. Some of the wave goes back up the pipe, and some of the wave goes into the secondary valve, which then accumulates in this pressure tank. And the pressure that's in here wants to escape somewhere, and so some of it goes back out this delivery side here. So whenever that pressure wave happens, it goes this way and that way, the pressure here in this valve is dropped. So the little swing will fall back open again, and it will wait for the pressure wave to come back down and do it again. So you'll see this in operation here in just a bit. The first thing we're going to do is install our initial intake out of that culvert pipe, and we're going to use this 5-gallon bucket with one of my favorite products. It's a Unisil. It's a little rubber grommet that I will just stick about halfway into this bucket. So water will pour in with silt and debris. We do have a screen to put on top of here, but silt's still going to build up, and this will allow us to have a mostly air-free source that will collect some silt over time. So I've just got a hole saw that's the correct size for this Unisil, and then that Unisil just will press into there, just like that. And whenever that pipe goes in there, it will flare out the backside, and it will make a very nice seal around the pipe. This bucket is going to be our initial intake. This next bucket is something that I have found to be very helpful, and it will make sure that the drive pipe does not have air getting into it. If air gets to the ram pump, it'll stop it. So the second bucket is going to be another filter, and also going to have that midway hole for the intake. And on this bucket, I have got a lid, and I'm going to put another one of these Unisil right here in the top, and that's where the water from the first bucket will come down the creek and enter into this one. We'll also have to drill a couple of holes in here to let some excess water out, or air. I think I'm going to offset this a little bit because that hole might be awkward to drill into. Now I'm just going to put a couple of holes in here to let some water out and air out if it accumulates in here. We're using a piece of hardware mesh or hardware cloth to put over the bucket. So whenever a big rainstorm comes, it won't wash out the screen, hopefully. So that will go down first, and then we will put this down on top of that to catch the small stuff that may be entering into the bucket. If the ram pump secondary valve gets some trash in it, it will actually prevent this valve from closing and the pump won't work. So we want to make sure we keep all the little debris out of there. When it comes time to clean out this bucket, I have found that it's really helpful if you can disconnect the supply line. And so the pipe that we have here has the bell on one side, and that acts as a coupling. But if you take the other end of the pipe you're going to use and just cut off a section I'm going to do about 6 to 8 inches here. So that right there is going to go into that unisill, and the other end of this has the bell, and so you can just connect that in here, and then whenever you have to drain this bucket, we're not going to glue this piece, so you can just undo that. This will be attached to the bucket. You can dump everything or clean it out however you need to. You can actually take a file and file this down. Hopefully we don't have to today. All right, there we go. It's in there about an inch or so, and that's all you have to do with that. All right, we've got just a regular concrete block down here to bring the bucket up a little bit. Set this down here. Now I'm seeing the water is not quite in one spot enough to fill the bucket quickly, so I'm going to put some rocks up here. Hopefully bring that stream down a little. That's pretty good. It's got a full flow down here in the pipe. The first pipe we have is called the supply line, and it's going to bring water from the source to our second bucket. We're not going to glue that, so if the bucket needs to be cleaned later on, we can just pull that out and dump the bucket. You can already see the debris that's being trapped by our screen, and this kind of stuff right here, believe it or not, is enough to stop the ram pump if it gets caught in that secondary valve. Here's the other end of that 20-foot section of supply line. So now that is going to be going into the top of our bucket where we have this unisill. So I have a simple 90 and a short piece here that I'm just going to push into this lid. Okay, so the water from the supply line will come in here, and then the drive pipe that's feeding the ram pump will come out here. So that needs to be facing down creek, and this will be facing up there towards our supply. So you can see all this is pretty much low pressure, and it shouldn't blow out. Okay. Might be enough just to keep it. Okay. Should be more than enough. Okay. Now we have more water than the ram pump is going to use, and so these little holes here will squirt water out.
Allow that overflow.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the drive pipe, I'm going to do the same thing where I cut off a small section, and this is going to go into the bucket. And so when the second bucket needs to be cleaned out, we can simply just remove this first coupling here to get to everything. In typical land house fashion, I forgot the primer to install this pipe right here together. So we're using some heavy duty cement, and it's going to be fine. This is low pressure in the drive pipe. So I'm gonna let this set up for about 20 minutes, and then we'll get this in the water. Here's a little section of pipe that's gonna go into the bucket. All right, I think that'll stay. I've got a regular decking board here, and that's what's going to allow the pump to sit upright. And also, I'm going to be drilling a hole in this board to set a piece of rebar so that this doesn't wash the pump down the creek. Also, the pressure wave is going to move the pump if it's not locked down. I'm going to go about right here. It's just going to allow that piece of rebar to fit in there. And now for the pump placement, it needs to go about right here. I like to use this secondary valve as the place to attach to. Plumber's strap. It's a metal strap that will keep this locked down. The main thing to consider whenever you put your ram pump on a board is that you still want to be able to access the unions. So you'll see how the board doesn't exceed this union or that union. So we can go another couple of inches there and still get those undone. While the cement on the drive pipe is curing, we're going to go ahead and get the delivery pipe rolled up the hill. So in this case, we have a Schedule 40 roll pipe. You can use PVC, you can use garden hose. As long as it's air, doesn't have any air leaks, it will be just fine. So we believe that our drive pipe is going to end up right over here. We may have to cut it down a little bit to get the best placement, but this little spot right over in here is where we're aiming for. So we're going to run this roll pipe up here. To be honest, we'll probably throw it down from up there, and then we're going to take it over to our tanks. We have the delivery pipe laid out, and we've got some of these little barb fittings that we're going to be using hose clamps on to get those attached. And we're short by a few feet, so we're gonna move on to garden hose after this. Since we're not lifting very high, this is gonna be very low pressure. So these hose clamps will be overkill, but on top of the hill, there are two 275-gallon IBC totes. and they use both of these down here to connect together and run their garden hose down to their pigs and chickens. So for now, we're just going to be using the garden hose attached or just thrown into the cap. We now have the delivery pipe run up to the tanks, so it's time to get the drive pipe installed and the pump going. So let's go ahead and get this put down in the creek. Now it's really important to lock this down with rocks and heavy things so that it doesn't have any bounce, because you want the pressure wave from the ram pump to be following the path of the drive pipe and not bouncing and losing potential there. I'm going to toss this down to you here.
Get ready.
Oop. Or at least pretend to. We just decided to give it a try without cutting. So it's gonna just rest somewhere down in here and we'll have to make do. If it doesn't work, we will go back and cut the pipe so it's off to the side. The main thing you wanna do is keep the pump out of flash flood. Otherwise it may get washed out.
Notice how I did exactly what he said not to do.
Me cackling in the background.
What not to do while installing a ram pump.
Whatever you do, don't drop this.
Whatever you do, don't drop this. Oh, you mean throw it in the creek?
One of the reasons the Land-to-House ram pump has a union on it is so that you can detach pipes like this to attach to your delivery and drive pipe with ease. Otherwise, it's difficult to get these pipes connected to the pump. It's also a good way to pull the pump out for maintenance or to open up things for the winter time and let them drain out. Yeah, and I brought a piece of rebar to drive down to keep it from moving, but we can just put rocks on the board instead, if that would help.
And so we should just set it in the creek from here?
Yep, unless you want to go ahead and put your delivery on there while it's up and out. These unions have O-rings inside of them. If they fall in the water and get lost, there'll be a leak and the pump will probably not work. We've got a piece of rebar for that hole, and I'm going to use a hammer rock to drive that down in the creek bed. If your ram pump is resting on rocks only, you can put more rocks on top of the board just to keep the pump into position. Time to get the drive pipe attached to our bucket. I believe we have plenty of water coming in here. It's important to keep the drive pipe from bouncing, so I'm going to find several rocks and just place them on top here. Now some places like this big drop, nothing I can do, but whenever I can, I'm going to lock this down with some rocks. We opted for the rock idea because the rebar was just hitting more rock. If you'll open up your drive pipe ball valve, water is going to gush out of that waste valve. So what's happening now is water is bypassing the pump and it's going out the delivery side. It's going to snake around until it matches the height of the source, which is going to be a couple feet up here. And so now, if you will push down your waste valve, and you're going to do that several times, what's happening is it's pushing water up the hill until we have enough water in this pipe that's pushing back down on the pump. So that right there may take anywhere from 10 times to 100 times to get it going. Every time you hear that valve snap closed, it's pushing just a little bit of water up that pipe. Oftentimes whenever the pump does this where it doesn't want to cycle on its own, there is an air bubble stuck in the pipe. So he's going to push and hold down the valve, and we're going to see if air will gurgle out of here. All right, and let go real quick. All right, and then do that again. So let's let it sit for about 1 minute, and I'll check the bucket to make sure we have plenty of water. So an air bubble was the culprit. Now the reason it stopped is because now it's filling that pipe more.
So do I continue?
Yep. And you should feel a different kind of click now.
Slower.
It's got a slow, what we're aiming for is about 1 click per second. So now it's operating as it should without that air bubble. And as soon as there's enough pressure on that line, it'll cycle on its own. The pump now has enough back pressure in the delivery pipe that it is operating on its own. We're gonna go ahead and walk up the hill and see if we can pick this pipe up and see where the water level is. I can actually see the pipe sinking down right there.
Oh yeah.
As it's filling with water. See if the water's reached this point yet. It feels heavy. So we're close. Check it out.
There it is.
Creek water.
Wow. It's good timing because I had to empty them to move them yesterday. So I gotta get water to all the pigs. Oh, this is fantastic.
But you can see it's not quite what you had with that gas pump, but it's 24/7.
Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of...
So in just a short time, about 10 or 12 minutes, it already has a significant amount of water there in the bottom. Now I was just mentioning that this thing is surging, and that is probably due to this being right at the level of losing back pressure. So he can either bring the pump up in the creek a little bit, and that will reduce the potential up, or he could take the delivery pipe, run it up the hill some to gain more height, and then bring it back down. The pump install is complete, and I want to walk through everything with you so you can see what it looks like now that it's done. Back up here at the source, where we have the bucket with hardware cloth and some window screen, and we've kind of put some rocks up here to direct the water flow, and what we see going in is more than enough for the pump, which means there's overflow here and also down at our secondary bucket, which helps clean things a little bit up here. So we can disconnect here if we need to clean that bucket out over time. And this pipe is considered the supply line. Comes down here to our bucket. Now this bucket could be considered a stand pipe, but it mostly just removes the air and also some silt. So let's see if we open this, if we find any silt in here just after about an hour of use. You can see the kind of silt that we have here in the mountains. So it's a little bit cloudy, but not too bad. We've got overflow up top and we have overflow here, so we have more than enough water to run this system. Now we have a 60-foot drive pipe, which we've put rocks on to prevent any bouncing from happening. Here's a close-up of where the pump is. And we did put rocks on the board instead of using that piece of rebar. As long as it's stationary, it'll be good. From there, we've got that roll pipe going up the hill and onto the storage tanks. Thank you for watching this ram pump video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'll have a link in the description if you want to check out more information on the ram pump. I'm Seth, the Ram Pump Wizard, and I'll see you in the next video.